Hi, my name is Robert Chelle with Chelle Law, and my law firm assists physician assistants with employment contract issues. Today I'm going to talk about what is claims-made insurance for a physician assistant. So, if you're a PA entering into an employment relationship with private practice, some kind of physician-done group, then you will have one of two types of insurance, either claims-made coverage or an occurrence-based policy. So an occurrence-based policy simply means a policy has to be in effect when the malpractice occurs. So no tail insurance is necessary. You're covered indefinitely. If you have a claims-made policy, it means a policy has to be in effect when the claim is made. So when you leave an employer, there has to be some kind of insurance that covers the gap in between when the last day that you saw a patient and then the last day somebody can sue you. So that's called the statute of limitations. And in most states, it's 2 years, although there are some exceptions, which I'm not going to go through today. So if you have a claims-made policy, somebody is going to need to purchase tail insurance so that you are covered if somebody sues you after you leave the employer. Now, let's talk costs. So tail insurance generally costs about twice what your annual premium is. So the annual premium is simply how much it costs to insure you on an annual basis. Multiply that times 2, and that's a good kind of rough estimate of how much the tail would cost for the PA. Now, who has to pay for the tail insurance? It's going to be defined in the contract. So you need to look into the section regarding malpractice insurance, and then there also will be a section that states if it is a claims-made policy, who will be responsible to purchase tail insurance. Now, if you are responsible for purchasing tail insurance, it's a one-time cost, so it's not like every year you have to pay for it. And it can vary on price depending upon how long you want the tail to last. The shorter the tail, the less expensive it's going to be. The shorter amount of time you've worked for an employer, the less expensive it's going to be. So although I said 2 times is like a good rule of thumb, it could go anywhere from like 1.5 all the way up to 3 times your annual premium, kind of based upon those factors. Now, this is definitely something that can be negotiated in advance of the contract. If the employer says, no, we are not paying for your tail no matter what, one thing we've been successful with is maybe asking them to cover a portion of the tail cost for every year that you're working for them. So for instance, let's say you have a 3-year initial term. You would say, all right, for every year that I've completed with you, you'll cover 1/3 of the cost of the tail insurance if I leave. And then that way, by the end of the initial 3-year term, the employer would pay for the entire amount of your tail. It's not prohibitively expensive for a PA. Now, I guess it depends upon what kind of specialty they're working with and who the supervising and collaborating physician is. But usually it's somewhere between $2,000 to $4,000 a year. So the tail cost somewhere between $4,000 to $8,000 a year. Now, why would an employer choose occurrence over claims made? Well, it's cost. So an occurrence-based policy is generally about 1/3 more expensive than a claims-made policy. So what most private physician practices will do, they'll offer a claims-made policy that they'll pay the underlying premium for each year, which is 1/3 less. But then they'll place the burden of the tail cost onto the physician assistant. And that way they not only save 1/3 less on the annual premium, but then they don't have to worry about paying for tail as well. It's going to be pretty rare that the PA would have the choice between the two. Obviously, if you're not paying for it, an occurrence-based coverage is a no-brainer. But as I said before, it's very unlikely the employer will give you the choice. Now, if you're working as an independent contractor, maybe you're assisting in surgery every once in a while or something like that, and you were responsible for purchasing your own malpractice insurance, that would come into play as far as, all right, what are the different costs between the two? How long do I expect to have this independent contractor relationship with whoever I'm working for? So those are things that you need to think about before purchasing, some kind of policy to cover yourself while you're working as an independent contractor. Now, if you work for a big hospital network, you almost never have to pay tail. Most of the big hospital networks nowadays are self-insured. and the tail cost is just covered under whatever kind of policy they have. So usually that's not something you have to worry about if you're working for a hospital or a big hospital network. If you have any questions about your employment agreement or malpractice insurance, feel free to call my law firm at the phone number listed below in the description, or you can reach us to our website, chellelaw.com. If you like this video, please like, subscribe to the channel. We release videos every single day. Appreciate it. Thanks.